Hey, it's franchise time. It's November. Uh, Happy Thanksgiving. My store, the second I got there, like November 1st, they put up a Merry Christmas banner. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, leave me alone for 2 days. Fucking Christmas should not happen until the day after Thanksgiving. Listen, there's the Thanksgiving Macy's Day Parade. Santa Claus, he comes out during the parade. That's when Christmas starts. All right. That moment. Never before. God damn it. Welcome to the franchise. I'm Daniel Ehrenberg, and that is Logan Adair. We're playing catch up today, gang. Logan, how's it going?
It's going great. I just voted. I never really had a take on that, honestly. When I know some people say when Thanksgiving, and some people do say when Halloween ends. I don't really care enough
I
to have an
I have
opinion.
strong feelings.
I
Listen,
like your take though, whenever
I
we see
think
Santa at the parade.
people are starting Halloween too early too. These holidays don't need to be 2 month affairs. Okay. I see people like September 1st. They're like, I'm starting to watch horror movies. I'm like, listen, here's how I see it. Summer. You have to celebrate summer. And summer doesn't officially end until the solstice. That's September 21st. Okay. If you want to watch horror movies after that, you're allowed.
This
All
is
right.
crazy.
No, no, no.
You're
I
policing when people can watch horror
yes,
movies.
yes.
Well, I disagree with that, but I also think the world is so sad. We should just let people enjoy things. I really believe that. If they
Then
want to
just watch horror
celebrate
movies
Christmas
year
in
round.
June, let them.
Bullshit. I can't. I'm not going to abide by that.
If
I'm
people
not.
aren't hurting others, they should be allowed to do what they want to do.
It's creepy. If you're celebrating Christmas in June, you're a pedophile.
All right.
Even if you
Can't
have
argue with
no
that one.
pedophilic tendencies, in my eyes, you're a pedophile. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Mick Foley.
Oh,
All
he does
right.
that?
Mick Foley, he has a room in his house that is just, it's Christmas all year, just in that room.
Pedophile.
I think it's creepy.
That's fair. I never heard of that. Who
All
is it that
right.
has a mall in her home?
Is there someone that has a mall in their home?
I want to say it's
Is it Mall
Barbara
Lissa?
Streisand. Does
All
Barbara
right.
Streisand have a mall in her home?
Maybe. Did you like that Big Brother reference I just
I
made?
didn't hear what you said actually.
I asked, was it Mall Lissa?
Melissa. That's a pretty deep cut thing for you to say. I don't think you'll
Yeah, yeah.
remember that.
Guys, we just finished season 24 on Comp Beasts. Check out patreon.com/slash the franchise. All right. Listen, this week we're playing catch up. There's been a new Crow movie. It's the first Crow movie Logan's ever watched in his life. But back in the Henry days when my co-host was a man. he Henry Papali, we watched four Crow movies. This is the fifth one. Now, there was The Crow by Alex Proyas with Brandon Lee, who died making that movie. Then there was The Crow City of Angels, which came out in theaters a couple years later. Then The Crow Salvation, which was straight to DVD and had Kirsten Dunst in it. And then The Crow Wicked Prayer, which was also straight to DVD and had David Boreanaz in it.
Oh hell yes.
Yeah, yeah, that would be Logan's favorite if you watched it today, I think.
Nope. I'm very objective as a critic.
Sort of.
I am.
And now we've got a remake. We'll also be covering Transformers 1 a little later in the podcast, which is an animated Transformers movie that came out in theaters over the summer by the director of Toy Story 4. So look forward to that. We covered Transformers all last summer on the franchise at a time no one should have been celebrating Christmas. And um we hated it. We really hated that franchise, but we were a little bit into Bumblebee, like a tiny bit. And so maybe this one will get us there,
I
Maybe
think
they're
we
on
gave
the
it a pity three,
I,
Bumblebee.
I think you're right. It
We
was
were
a
like,
pity
yeah,
three.
you
It was
didn't
just the
totally
rest of
shit the
them were
bed.
so bad. And like Bumblebee was like watchable and I could follow it. And that's like all I wanted at that point. And then it's Staley Heinfeld.
Staley Heinfeld Allen, soon to be. I hope one day.
Who's she marrying?
Josh Allen. They're not getting married, but they're dating each other.
Yeah. Oh God, that is
Great couple, right?
weird. Weird.
Why weird?
I don't know. I like Josh Allen.
Of
He's one of my
course.
favorite quarterbacks. So I guess I won't be. I get weirded out when people I like are dating football players because I think of football as just being like a toxic, weird place for like dumb idiots. But like quarterbacks have to be smart a little bit, you know?
I think you got to be smart to be an athlete.
I are you fucking insane?
Okay, not smart, but you have to like be smart at your job.
I don't think so. I
Of
football.
course.
I do think that about every other sport, basketball, hockey, baseball, what have you. Uh, Football. I really think it's just a competition between a coach and a quarterback. It's coach and quarterback versus coach and quarterback, and everybody else on the field is just some fucking giant dumb dumb.
Okay,
They're just a chess piece.
if you want to say that about the linemen, then that's fine. But like Travis Kelsey is one of the greatest, most talented tight ends of all time. You can't say that about him.
I feel like I
Or
can.
wide receivers, or maybe running backs a little bit.
You know what was frustrating? I watched the first episode of Grotesquerie yesterday,
Okay.
starring Travis Kelsey. It's not in the first episode.
I was gonna say I doubt he's in that one.
What the fuck?
I think he's not in it a lot.
The whole reason I watched it.
Yeah, he messed up.
I guess so.
It's like you watch the Friday the 13th movies for Jason, and then it's like, oh, he's not even in the first one. And
That's
the
a
second
good
one, he doesn't
point.
even have the cool mask on, right? He's
Yeah, but he's
Baghead
got that
Jason,
bag head. That's cool too.
right? But
Yeah,
you got to wait 3 movies to get the iconic Jason Voorhees,
it's true.
like Travis Kelsey.
See, it's almost like this Crow movie making you wait until the fucking hour and 15-minute mark before he puts on the fucking Crow makeup for the first time.
I wasn't waiting on that. I liked the love story.
Uh, we Listen. Logan has never seen a Crow movie, so we're gonna be like at odds here.
I didn't like it.
Good. I mean,
We're not going to be
this
at odds.
no, but I thought it was a piece of shit on any level, but also just like um uh, just a pox. I mean, it's just like there's nothing here compared to the first one. The first movie. Can I just like walk you through it a little bit?
Mhm.
They set up Eric Draven and Shelley. It's like a love story. He's like an aspiring musician and she's like an artist and they like live in a loft in Detroit. And then some bad guys come in and kill her. Well, they kill both of them, but like he comes back to life as the Crow. All right.
Mhm.
This all happens in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right.
Okay.
But you have
And
to buy their love story.
but you do. They
Like,
set it up so that like, yeah. They're like we don't see them meet or anything. We don't need to, but like it's a lived-in romance that it's like they've been together a while. They're married. They clearly it's a pure love or whatever. They live together. You know, it's way more pure than however much time you put into the love story in this new one, because they just like two fucked up people who meet in rehab. That's 13 stepping, baby. You're not even supposed to do that. All right. Listen, the fact that they're saying this is such a pure love that like it defeats Satan or whatever, like it could save you from going to hell because your love is so pure. They met in fucking rehab. I met a girl in rehab. Her name was Deanna. You know, we fucked once. She has a
Once?
baby now.
Your baby. What if?
It's not my baby.
How do you know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure? That's not good enough for me. That's scary.
Anyway, I mean,
Why
but
once? Why
I,
once?
because it was a mess. We were both a mess.
But that's why this one is a love. It's not a mess. It worked.
They're not. This isn't love. This isn't what love is. I feel like this is a
Who are
movie
you to say?
made by people who don't understand what love is. This is a movie made by and for the same people that say like Joker and Harley Quinn is the greatest romance in the history of movies. I feel like
Yeah.
they're trying to get people like you know those like idiot couples that post like pictures of Harley Quinn and Joker on their Facebook, and it's like that's us.
But these people weren't like she wasn't even that crazy. She had a few drugs. She got busted, went there, met him. She fell in love. She was pretty normal aside from that.
Come on. I feel like what they're trying to do with this movie is to get people to stop posting Harley Quinn and Joker memes on their Facebook and start posting Eric Draven and Shelley memes. And it's
Yeah,
just
we'll see
never
if it
gonna happen.
happens.
It's never
We'll
gonna
see.
happen.
We'll see.
Uh,
Next Halloween, we'll see how many Eric and Shelleys there are.
all right.
Although Eric, the
It
name of
would
his
have been
dad in the MCU, right?
what? Oh,
Stellar Skateboard. That's
Eric
his.
Solvig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's his name in Thor.
yeah, I know.
That's cool.
Uh, all right, let's get into the development of this movie because it's they've been trying to make another Crow movie since 2008, and it seemed like it was always going to happen like a bunch of times, and this is what they ended up with.
Mhm.
So back in 2008, Stephen Norrington attached himself. He's the fella that directed the original Blade movie. He was going to do a Crow, and he hired Nick Cave, the musician Nick Cave, to write the script, which is
Wow.
weird.
Does he have
And
experience doing that?
yeah, he wrote a movie called The Proposition. I've never seen it.
Hmm.
Um, but and then Mark Wahlberg was going to star in it. He was going to be the Crow. All
Okay.
right. Now that fell apart pretty quick. And then cut to 2011. We get this guy, Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. I think he directed 28 Weeks Later. All
Okay.
right. He's going to direct it with Bradley Cooper as the
Mm.
Crow. All right. Yeah, I knew that would get you horny. And so that's in development for a couple of years. That falls apart. Then they get this guy, F. Javier Gutierrez. He's like, I think he's a horror guy. Made some like indie films,
Okay.
and he wanted to do it like he wanted to do a Watchmen where they go back to like the original comic book, and he just makes it like panel by panel, line by line into the
Yeah.
movie, and he was gonna do it with Tom Hiddleston
Okay.
as, and then when Tom Hiddleston dropped out, he was thinking about doing it with Alexander Skarsgård, which I thought was interesting because
Skarsgård.
yeah, Scars because now his brother's the Crow.
Right. Right.
It was
Right.
like
Right.
in development for so long that like his younger brother got cast in the role he was gonna take.
Who would be a good Crow?
Brandon Lee.
Right.
Stop
It,
making them.
right. Is there anyone? Because I had trouble too. Like I don't think anyone really fits this sort of like.
Listen, the Crow's a goth character. Like in the 90s, there were a bunch of people who could do this. You know, like Johnny Depp played Edward Scissorhands. He could have done this.
Heath Ledger
But
could have done it.
yeah, but that's not really a type anymore. And so instead of making him a goth character, we're like, what is it that the youth do today? Like to be outsiders. And like we settled on they have a bunch of face tats and shit. But it's like that's not even cool and counterculture anymore. Like everybody has shit tons of tats.
I don't.
I know that's more counterculture than having tats now.
I
Is
don't
what
have a
you're
single one.
doing. Yeah.
I would. I just can't think of what's a good first one.
These people
Got to
don't
start
care though.
somewhere.
Are you kidding me? Look at the tats on this guy. He had like a question mark on his temple. Why did you
Yeah.
decide to do that? Had a
He,
little red star over there.
it's just whatever's in the book that day. Whatever's for sale.
Yeah,
$5 tattoos.
that's what they do. That's what
Yeah.
they're spending their money on, you know. And then they complain that I'm living in a mannequin factory. Well, you know what?
You
Save
have
some
eight
money
hundred
on
dollars of tattoos on your
save
arm.
some money on rent. All right.
Yeah, you got them.
I fuck these kids. All right. Um, what else we got? Okay. So then that falls apart. That version,
And we got the
and then
Roop Dog.
no, there's two versions before
Oh my
Roof Dog comes
goodness.
into it. Yeah, yeah. 2015, they get James O'Barr, who created the comic. They're like, why don't you write a version? And he's like, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I
should have come to me earlier.
yeah, yeah. And So he's gonna do it, and they hired Jack Houston to play the Crow, which another amazing coincidence because
Yeah.
his dad then gets hired to play the fucking villain in this,
Hmm.
and the Shelley was gonna be Jessica Brown Findlay, who was the girl that got killed in the first season of The Killing, and also was in the Carrie Diaries. Don't even worry about it. I follow her career. She's great. Um,
Okay.
and then in 2016, it was going to be Corin Hardy was going to direct it. Do you know who that is? Actually, I
Nope.
forgot to look that one up.
Mm-mm. How you spell it? I'll look them up.
Corin Hardy.
Okay. He did The Nun.
Oh, he directed the first Nun movie. All
Yep.
right. So he was going to do The Crow prior to The Nun. I
Okay.
guess they were like, what? Maybe he had done an indie, and they were like, "What's his first Hollywood
Yeah.
project going to
I
be?"
forgot what it was. The
Um,
Hallow.
yeah. So he's gonna make it. It's called The Crow Reborn, and it was gonna be Jason Momoa as the Crow.
Okay, I can sort of
He
see
was
that.
gonna be Krakoa.
Good job.
Am I right?
Yeah.
And that falls apart. All right. So now finally we get this version,
All right.
directed by. We get a script by Zach Braylon and William Schneider. Braylon's the fella. He's Oscar nominated for King Richard.
Just
And he,
Balin. You added an R to that name.
what did I say?
I think you said Zach Braylon and it's Zach Balin.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, Zach Balin. He
Yeah.
he wrote King Richard and Creed 3. Now he's writing a Crow movie. And the director is of course Rupert Sanders, who is best known for having fucked Kristen Stewart in a car.
How do you know sex was involved? She could just been on him. They're kissing.
Dude, I mean, you have a point there, but I mean, they were having an affair. Like they both came out with it, and like it was a bummer. Sanders was married to Atticus Ross, who works with Trent Reznor.
Right. Yeah.
He had been married to that dude's sister for
Oh
like
no.
10 or 12 years at that point. And Kristen Stewart was with Pattinson at the time, and they both cheated on their people with each other on the set of Snow White and the Huntsman. They fucked in a car. We've all seen the paparazzi
You've
photos.
seen him too many times.
I've seen. Well, they're not really like sexy. They're kind of grainy and far away, but it's like, wow, look at them. They're cheating right
They're really
now.
going at it, according to you.
Yeah. um.
It's so sad that she cheated on Robert Pattinson though.
Whatever.
That makes me sad.
Why? You
Why
wanted
couldn't he
them
have
to
been the
end up
crow?
together? He could have been the Crow, but here's the thing: like everyone that could have played the Crow,
He's Batman
they're
though.
just getting offered Batman, and you're not
Yeah,
going to choose the Crow over Batman.
absolutely. It's true.
Yeah.
The
All right.
crow is D grade Batman.
At this point, yeah. So this fella Rupert Sanders, he directed since Snow White and the Huntsman. He did Ghost in the Shell, which tanked, and now he's getting another opportunity, and this tanked too. So I think his career is
This is
probably
his
not
first
going
one since
great.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, because he had that movie in development after Ghost in the Shell, Rub and Tug. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
This was going to be Scarlett Johansson playing like a trans person,
Okay,
like a
people would have
man
loved
who had
that.
transitioned into a woman. No, it was like announced right at the time people started giving a shit about that.
Right.
And so like everyone was like, you're going to do a trans movie without a trans actor playing the role? And Rupert Sanders was like, well, no one's going to go see it. Like Scarlett Johansson's like a
What?
movie star. Like people might go see it.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And so but like then Scarlett Johansson dropped out because she didn't want to be considered like not an ally. And so
I think
that
a
whole movie
catalyst to
fell
that
apart.
actually was Ghost in the Shell. I think
Yeah, because she's supposed to be Asian in that movie.
yeah, so I think she was responsible for it anyway, even though she said she doesn't want to. I think it was
Rupert
like that.
Sanders was like doing his best to tank Scarlett Johansson's career. around this
Yeah,
time.
he tried, didn't succeed.
No.
It was like her
No,
and
in,
Emma
in fact,
Stone.
in fact, we'll be covering her later. She's in fucking Transformers.
It's true. You're right. Yeah.
She's the voice of the one female Transformer, sort of like the Smurfette of the Transformers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a girl usually in the other Transformers movies?
I don't remember there being one.
Yeah, me either. That's kind of weird, actually.
It's true. You'd think like Michael Bay would want to do like a female Transformer, have like these like hot tits or something.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Nice tailpipe.
Right,
I think
right,
we've made that
right.
joke before. For
Still
sure, he would
funny,
do that.
still funny.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. That was my whole lead up. The Crow comes out August 23rd, 2024. Um, and it fails pretty immediately. It was released opposite that what's the one you like with Channing Tatum?
What did he do this year? Blink twice?
Yeah, that. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
I wanted to say don't blink, but I knew I was wrong. Blink twice. Yeah. It's don't
You
not
liked it too.
blink. Blink. No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I
Right.
didn't. Listen to my Hey I'm Watching here this week to hear my thoughts on Blink Twice.
Mhm.
And it's the only movie this year with more plot holes than Trap. Um and but Logan is like highfalutin about this. He's like, I don't care about plot holes. I care about ambition and directorial magnificence.
Yep. And acting.
Right, right.
Nailed it.
I
That's
think
me in a nutshell.
I think a story needs to work
Right. And some
on just
characters.
like basic levels.
Yeah, I don't care. I
Yeah.
can take it or leave it.
He doesn't give a shit. All right, and but so that beat it in its first weekend. It currently sits at number 74 for the year, the 2024 box office, between Saturday Night, the Saturday Night Live movie, and Thelma.
Thelma. All right. I
Yeah.
at first wanted to see Saturday Night, and then I heard it was like a little biased and like annoying. So
Well, here's the thing.
I will,
I'm
though.
I'm interested in it. I've read everything there is about like early Saturday Night Live, all the books and shit, the oral history, and so like I know the real story, and I'd be more annoyed if they were really like trying to tell the story. But it's more of like an experiment because the movie is taking place like the first like for like 2 hours before it starts airing.
Yeah, that's exciting to me.
Yeah, so like that's at least like a take.
Right, of course. I'll see it definitely.
Yeah. Um all right. So this is your first Crow movie. Tell us your thoughts.
Well, it made me really want to watch all the other ones. It
Did
was so
it?
good. Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
No. I will definitely watch the first one, and I would have, but I just I had watched these two. So
Can you watch the first Crow like
I'll do it before
maybe
I'm watching here.
yeah, for the next day I'm watching
I
here.
I will do that. Yes. I didn't love it. I thought it was pretty boring looking, honestly. I don't know if it's just Rupert Sanders or not, but I didn't love the look of it. But I liked Shelly, FKA Twigs. She's gonna be my MVP. Spoiler alert. But I thought she was
Really?
pretty good.
I
Yeah,
kind of don't think she can act.
yeah, she's fine. Who's the MVP otherwise?
Is there one?
That's the question, I guess.
I don't know.
That's why
Like,
it's her.
here's the one pleasant surprise with the movie is that the original has one of the great fucking soundtracks of the 90s. Okay.
Mhm.
Amazing soundtrack with original music by The Cure, and it had a Stone Temple Pilots song on there. And I was like, oh God, what is the new one gonna be? And you know what? It's still had a pretty good soundtrack. It was mostly 80s stuff, which surprised me. What's up with this? Where like I feel like people today only listen to hip hop. And but you never hear hip
Pop.
hop.
People like pop.
Yeah, but then they don't do the soundtracks on that. I was thinking about this watching The Circle on Netflix. All right. Every season, The Circle on Netflix, all the songs they use are from the 80s.
Mhm.
And I'm like, do kids know these songs? Or are they just like they're just fine. They
What do you
don't
mean,
give a shit.
kids?
Like the people watching the show. Like it all shows and movies are aiming for young audiences, right? They want like 20 somethings, people your age and younger to go see
Right.
it. And
I think they pick pretty iconic ones, especially on the circle. I've never been like, what's this one? But I do know music from the 80s, I guess, probably more than people my age might. I don't know.
but I feel like they don't it's you never hear a movie with like a shit ton of like Lil Uzi Vert in it. I mean, what are kids listening to these days?
There was one Purge movie. There was a big song Mo Bamba after the basketball player, and one of like the first Purge had Mo Bamba in it, and I was like, this is weird because it was like a very like came out like that week. The movie came out. I was like, holy shit, this is such a like famous new song. So maybe you're
The
right. They don't play a lot of like that type of stupid.
the Transformers one we're about to cover, the closing credits had a Ty Dolla Sign song playing, and I was like, see, that's more what I was expecting to hear in The Crow.
I got to tell you the song that plays in the credits of The Crow. First of all, I was watching The Crow and I was wondering if you were gonna like the music because I was noticing it was very similar to the music that's played in 13 Reasons Why.
Oh my God, enough.
No, listen, you used to bring up like 8 shows when you were with Henry, and Henry was never like an asshole to you. Okay. I don't know why you feel the need to do that to me. It's just a show. Let me
It's
talk
your
about
only you only talk about that in Full House.
those are the shows you haven't seen. So
I've seen every episode of Full House.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
You don't even know Full House. Do you even Full House, bro? No, you don't.
I watched it when it aired.
All right, that's fine. But anyway, 13. I was noticing a lot of the songs were similar to the songs they would play in that show, and then the end credits was a song from the show, like like the ending of one of the seasons, basically.
Really? Which song was that?
It's called "What Went Down" by Foals, Foals.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a newer band.
Yeah, well, it
But
was played in season 2 of 13 Reasons Why.
but yeah, there was like when they escaped the recoveries. What, by the way, where are they in this movie? Like,
It's a good question. You said Detroit in the other one?
yeah, I mean, I think it's New York in this one, but I'm talking more about where they meet because it's like a recovery, it's rehab, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're all wearing like the same thing and they have to escape from there. Like it's treated like a jail.
Right. I had
Is it
questions about it too.
jail or rehab? And are there rehabs that are jail? And are there jails that are rehab centers? I don't know how this works.
Well, jail is kind of rehab because when you're in there, you're not drinking or doing drugs, right?
Yeah, but this seemed to be like focused on that. Like they had like
You're right about
they're
that.
going to like AA meetings and shit.
Right. And because she gets busted by the police for having drugs, so would she be sent to rehab or to jail? I had sort of had questions about that too because yeah, they escape and they're wearing like jumpsuits. That's not like
Yeah.
a rehab thing. It's pretty
It's
weird.
not a rehab, but it's not a jail. It's like this weird middle ground between rehab and jail. I've never seen it anywhere before.
I thought
I
you might.
honestly don't know if it's a real thing or if they made it up for this movie.
I would think it's made up then if you don't know because I thought you would.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people, everyone I know that like had to go to jail for drugs and stuff just went to jail, and
Right.
then after jail were sent to like a rehab facility.
Oh, really? You gotta do jail and then rehab?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe not inpatient rehab, but like outpatient. They're like stuck going there for like 6 months, like a probation kind of a thing.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah. Um. Anyway,
Like AA, more than
yeah.
rehab a little bit.
Right, right. So they meet in there, and that they escape to a Joy Division song, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking cool, Joy Division." And then later on, there's a scene in a car. It's when he kills that dude in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And they're listening to Gary Newman. I was like, wow, Gary Newman song. That's pretty fucking cool.
Okay. So Daniel.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, it was good music. Except the one time there was not good music is when they were trying to write music together. And it was like he was playing like the laziest little piano chords you've ever heard. And she was just like,
oh, she's a singer. She's doing great.
And then she stops and he's like, no, keep going. That was great.
I thought so.
Come on.
I didn't know. They should let her sing more.
I feel like I mean I agree with that. And by the way, I like FKA Twigs' music.
I don't know
Um,
her. Maybe I'll look her up.
yeah, she's pretty good. But I just music needs to try harder. I need musicians to try harder.
I heard a Taylor song this morning, like from one of her newer albums I never heard before.
Oh yeah?
Now I'm forgetting what it was.
All right. Well, if you want to hear more on Taylor, we just covered Lover.
I could do it with a broken heart.
All
Sorry to
right.
interrupt you.
He Swift, patreon.com/the franchise. Check that out. It's one of our best shows. All right. So the movie opens with a horse wrapped
Oh,
in
right.
barbed wire. And I'm just like, I don't want to see this.
Well, he didn't
This is not-
either.
It's not a pleasant way to start a movie.
Oh, they're not trying to give you a pleasant beginning. It's sad. What kind of
Yeah, but
critique is this?
it's like
I don't want to
fucking.
see that.
I don't need to see a fucking horse. I mean, the original Crow opens up with them getting murdered. You know, that's not pleasant either. And I'm pretty sure she gets raped in that one too. But
Mm.
uh, but still, it's like the inciting incident of the whole thing. What is this? I just
I
gotta
don't know
see.
what it was.
I just gotta see a fucking horse struggling for 5 minutes before we start our movie. That's my whole thing with this. Is there's so much faffing about. Like, just tell me a Crow story. There's like a half hour of a Crow movie in this movie called The Crow.
I agree
Right?
with you.
It's the whole thing. It starts with he's a kid. Everything we have to see characters get conceived now. We're not allowed to
true.
just start with
He's like
them as
12.
adults.
He's like 12.
Oh, hanging out on a farm with a barbed wire horse. Sad. He gets a scar on his hand, right? And then like we see the scar on his hand as an adult, and you're like, oh, so that's him as an adult. But then they need to do a flashback to the horse again, just
That
in
was
case we
bullshit.
missed it.
Yeah, what was that? We got the point.
Yeah. So
I like the crows in the background though of that scene. That was my favorite part. You knew what was about to happen.
Yeah. It's
Pretty
true.
cool.
It's true. So then like we have to see Shelly before she meets Eric. And I mean, Shelly's just Uncle Ben. All right. Like we don't need to see this for the same reason they never need to make a movie about how Uncle Ben and Aunt May fell in love. All right.
The pearls. You gotta see the pearls.
The fucking pearls.
But see, I didn't know Shelly, so I thought this might have been a new story. I didn't know this was anything
No,
to do
it's
with
the whole. This is the story. This is just a remake of the first one.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this.
Except whereas in the first one, he's fucking badass Crow enacting revenge within 10 minutes of start time. In this one, we need to see Shelly and Eric meet. We need to see their time at the rehab facility together. We need them to escape from rehab together. We need to
smoke weed.
Yeah, we need to have a montage of them fucking and
that's my favorite part of
hanging out. It's silly. And then we need to see her die. We need to see him come back to life. We need to see him like figure out his powers. There's like a what are my powers montage.
Mm-hmm.
Just put on the fucking makeup and start ripping some ass.
I agree. I didn't care because I hadn't seen the old movies, but I imagine like people in their 30s watching the Amazing Spider-Man were like, do we really need this? So it's fine. I agree with what you're saying. I just didn't care.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so we got what do you want to talk about?
Shelly had a friend named Zadie. She gets murdered by Danny Houston.
Yeah, she was blonde.
She was blonde, yeah.
Yeah. Danny Houston is the villain. Danny Houston's often a villain in movies like this. And he always gives the kind of performance that's like fine. But then, like a week later, if you ask me about the performance, I won't remember anything about it.
Right. You could ask me right now. He's like, already my OVP.
Logan, did you like Danny Houston in 30 Days of Night?
I don't remember him there.
Exactly, you don't. Of course you don't.
I remember Joshy Boy.
Yeah, that's right. He's memorable. Danny Houston, he's the worst Houston, and it isn't close. All right. Even his son, Jack Houston, is better than him.
What's he done?
He's the guy on Boardwalk Empire. He's got half a face. He talks like this.
Fair enough.
Hey, listen, my name is Tom Harrow, and I got half my face shot off in the war, and now I'm killing people for the mob. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I
that
like that.
guy. It's great performance, iconic. And now I don't know if any of that was even right, but I'm going by memory on that character. Um, and then he, but I don't know. Jack is boring, man. I mean, Danny, I can't even remember his fucking name.
Yeah, he is
Of course,
boring.
he's a Daniel. Every Daniel sucks.
Day
And
Lewis, come on.
I know. He's holding it down for us.
Kaluuya, there's a few.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones. You're right. Kaluuya,
DeVito,
DeVito. Thank you.
Dan
Thank you.
Schneider.
Ugh,
Your
come on.
favorite. That's your favorite Dan.
Yeah, I love Dan Schneider. Yeah, especially when he makes it look like little kids are getting splooged
All
on.
right. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
All right. So that's Danny Houston. We also have the worst Skarsgård in this film.
That's right. What do you think of
Uh,
his performance? Because I
I
have
thought
a
he was
little
terrible.
a parallel that I
I
think.
Bill Skarsgård. Listen, there's people that like this guy, and so I'm always like willing to give it a chance. I'm like, maybe this is the one. And like sometimes I see where people are coming from, where he makes some interesting choices. I remember he was in that show Castle Rock
Okay.
on Hulu, and I was like, he's doing some interesting stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
But
He's good as Pennywise.
yeah, but how much of that is him and how much of that is like
A lot.
effects
It's a
and
lot him. You can see him go on like the Tonight Show and do a lot of those faces.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
all right,
totally
all
a
right.
lot of him. And I
Fair
think he's
enough.
good in John Wick 4 as the villain. I think we disagreed there, but
I
I
don't even remember. Oh, yes, I do. I didn't. Yeah, I thought he was boring in that.
I
I
thought I liked him.
This is John Wick 4. This movie. That's all the action is at the end. It's John Wicky.
John Wick
Like
doesn't use swords. He was using the sword at one
I
point.
know, but there's a whole section of this movie where he's just trying to get up some stairs and he's fighting like henchmen and shit. And I'm like, we just did this.
Yeah, you're right about that. But not at an opera house. We haven't seen that since Godfather 3, Part
That's
3.
not true. We saw it in Mission Impossible.
Rogue Nation.
Yeah,
Damn it.
what's Rogue Nation?
Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's the one I know the least. You're right, though.
Yeah. Um. All right. So yeah, I just think Skarsgård he doesn't have the juice to me.
That's fine.
He's got a look to him. He's gaunt and gothy and but I don't know. For me, like he's just Jared Leto in Suicide Squad in this movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that. Especially when his brother's so cool. I think Alexander's
I
really
know.
cool.
And Alexander doesn't have to try to be cool. He just like shows
No.
up as Alexander. I feel like Bill, he's doing a bunch of voices and a bunch of faces, and it's still Alexander's cooler.
I feel like
He's
he was doing
he's a
like a
fucking try hard, this guy. And I know I just said music needs to try harder. This guy needs to try less hard.
I like a try hard sometimes, but they also need to know when to pull it back.
Yeah.
I didn't love him here. I thought what I'm going to make a comparison to. I thought he was doing a lot of Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker
Oh
in
my
this
God.
movie.
Yeah, because he's just a sad boy, spelled Sadboi. All right.
You nailed it.
That's all he's doing. He's I'm sad boy Crow. I live in a mannequin factory for no reason. By the way, this mannequin factory, it's supposed to be like we're looking at it as like a what is it? Where do you like you know
I don't know
Logan,
where you're
you
going.
know when you just like sit in at a place like you just like you don't live there, you just like fucking
Squatters?
squatters. Like that's what I thought they were going for with this. But like this mannequin factory still had a shit ton of mannequins in it. It still looked like it was in operation. I feel like this mannequin factory would have an extraordinarily high rent. And I don't know what he's doing for a living.
I think he is squatting there. Maybe you don't
Maybe,
think so?
but like he's got all this like musician equipment. Like it felt like these two people had never worked in their lives. Like they didn't have jobs. They didn't really have families, but like somehow they ended up with like these like amazing apartments. Like she's living in like a friend's a massive apartment. Like it's huge. And then he's living in this fucking mannequin factory with like high-tech equipment and pizza on the floor.
But at the end of the day, it's a mannequin factory. He doesn't have his own apartment. He lives in a mannequin factory, and she lives with her friend. I mean, I don't think they have to explain anything more than that.
But that's the kind of movie it is, where it's like these people they've never worked a day in their life. They can't afford an apartment, but
It should be a struggle.
they've got enough connections that they just live in beautiful places.
Right. I
You
guess I
know,
can't answer that.
I've seen a lot of movies about like heroin addicts. They're usually squatting out of like fucking tiny little shitholes with rats and stuff. They don't have access to like mansions.
So do you want more time on that and for him to put the makeup on an hour and 40 minutes into the movie or what?
No, I want none of this.
None of it. Okay, gotcha.
None of it. Just have them living somewhere. They get killed. He puts the makeup on. He's the Crow now.
It's like the Punisher,
You could
basically.
literally do it in 5 minutes.
You could literally do that, yeah.
And in
Which
this
I think they'll
one,
do next time if they do it.
he doesn't come. They don't get killed and come back to life until 40 minutes into the movie. The first 40 minutes of this is trying to sell you on this romance that doesn't exist because they have no chemistry and they have nothing in common. And we're supposed to be told that this is such a
Well, they're
great
drug
love
addicts.
after 2 weeks that like heaven is not gonna like let them die. Like their love is too strong. Like, come on.
I'm not gonna fight you. I mean, you're right. Whatever. That's fine.
It's frustrating. All right. So I liked when they were in rehab and Shelly went into his room and like someone had like fucked up his room, right? And he
Okay.
was like cleaning it up. And she picks up a picture and it's a drawing of herself with her tits out.
Right.
And she says, "Is this me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And that's supposed to be like this really romantic thing. And I got it. I can't imagine a girl like that you've known for less than a week, like finding a drawing you did of her with her tits out and thinking that was romantic.
Yeah, you might be right. But that's what makes them soulmates is they match each other's freak.
I guess.
You can't argue that.
Oh, oh my god. Um, yeah, so they fuck a bunch, they swim with some other trash kids,
They did
and
do that, yeah.
they collaborate on some lazy music, they go clubbing for a little while, and then they hang out on a bridge and talk about committing suicide because that's what you do when you're a couple of sad boys
If I
hanging out.
jump, would you jump? That
Yeah,
type of thing.
of course I would. I'm like, you're both morons. And then they die and come back to life. And then it takes a further half hour for him to put some makeup on. And then he John Wicks people for about a half hour, and that's the movie. Done.
Done. I was thinking uh, in those Crow sequels, do they use as many guns or were they a little bit scared away?
Nah, it's a lot of guns.
Okay, because this movie, ton of gun action. I was a bit surprised, honestly, that they were going to it, but they did.
Yeah, although he's using a sword more.
He does, but there's a ton of guns. Like he uses a gun too sometimes.
That's true.
There were at least 200 gunshots in this movie.
Yeah. The one thing I thought was an interesting take was they had him like he was never very good at fighting. It was
Mm-hmm.
almost like he's just immortal, so he'll keep coming back because like they can't kill him.
Right.
That felt realistic to me at least. You know,
Yeah.
instead of him just all of a sudden being a great martial artist like his dad Bruce Lee. Um, but that's kind of my only takeaway was like that's an interesting concept, but
Yeah, he was
the
getting his
rest of
ass
it
kicked.
sucks. Yeah. Yeah, he
Uh,
got hit by that car. Remember he was like in the middle of the road?
yeah, he got run over.
And
I
I'm
was
like, dude,
surprised.
you are terrible at this.
Yeah. How does he do that? How does he regenerate?
That's the whole thing. It's like the crow can't be killed. He's like a specter of darkness. And so like we see a lot of shots in this movie. There's a little bit of body horror in the movie with like big cuts getting
Yeah.
pulled back together and shit.
It doesn't look the best though. I wasn't like, ooh, gross. Like The Substance or anything.
I watched that last night.
Yes, you loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. Great film. uh,
I watched
uh,
the the Transformers movie in between the what did I watch yesterday? I watched The Apprentice, the movie about Donald Trump,
right.
then the Transformers movie, and then I sandwiched it with The Substance.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I've only last two movies I watched were The Crow and Transformers One.
Yeah. See,
I feel
that's where you're
horrible
going
about
wrong.
life right now. Maybe I'll celebrate Trump's loss with The Apprentice. That'll be fun.
don't
Don't jinx it.
don't jinx it.
All right, sorry. Uh, but he does die at the end. He gives his soul for Shelly.
Shelly.
Shelly. Money knows what
Yeah.
you're doing. But so no
I
sequel.
Shelly makes me think of South Park, Stan's sister in South Park. Um,
I think it's Shelley Duvall.
oh, okay. But yeah, they do set up a sequel.
But he
I read
dies. How's there gonna be a sequel?
I don't know. You just come back to life, I
She's the crow.
guess.
That'd be cool. Woman crow. Never done that before.
Yeah, let's do a Lady Crow.
Lady Raven and Lady Crow team up.
Oh my
What do
God.
you think? That'd be a great
Enough.
film.
God.
No?
You were so excited. I've never seen you happier than you looked when you came up with that joke.
I love Lady Raven so much.
I know you do. Um,
So 2 stars, it's not a one,
it's
is
a
it?
one.
It's a one.
I hated it.
I give it a two. I like Twigs. Who was it on Survivor?
Formerly
Sticks
known
and
as
Twigs.
Twigs.
Who was that on thing on Survivor?
Sticks and Twigs?
Weren't there like two castaways somebody nicknamed Sticks and Twigs?
I don't remember.
Either Survivor or Big Brother. I thought Survivor because they were starving on Survivor.
Yeah.
Let me know in
Uh,
the comments. Somebody let me know who Sticks and Twigs were. Was it like Heidi and Jenna? Did Rob call them Sticks and Twigs or
Oh,
something?
that might be it.
That's what I'm thinking comes to
That does
mind.
kind of ring a bell.
Something like that. But anyway, you gonna rank the Crow
I'm
films?
more of a Shauna man myself.
Oh,
What? Oh, he approves. Okay,
defo.
yeah, the Crow films. I mean, they're pretty bad. So it's even though I gave this a one, it's hard not to say it's the second best one.
Wow, that they're that
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Boreanaz didn't clear this one.
That would be the one. Like I think the second one is the worst one.
Okay.
And then I'd have to go back and like listen to what I thought at the time. But this is sort of my memory of it. It's like
Mhm.
I thought the second one was pretty worthless, and that was the worst one. Although it had production values, like it looked like a real movie. The original's the best one,
Obviously.
and then it's like the third and fourth one are probably like similar quality. The fourth one's more fun, but the third one has Dunst, and Dunst is great. She like elevates a movie. So you're probably looking at a one remake, 3-4-2 situation.
Okay. It's a bit surprising that Dunst went. I feel like she said she didn't love making the Spider-Man movies. Surprising she did another
This was
superhero
pre
thing.
Spider-Man.
Really? The Crow
Yeah,
3 or whatever was
yeah.
pre-Spider-Man?
Yeah. I mean,
That's
that was like
incredible.
straight to DVD, and then like she
Oh,
probably had a bad experience making it, but like then they were like, "Do you want to like Mary Jane in a fucking Spider-Man movie?" And that's a lot more appealing.
Yeah, it makes much more sense that she leveled up to Spider-Man rather than going down to the
Right,
Crow.
right,
I
exactly.
didn't know they were that early though. They'd already made three Crows before one Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Crow, the first one's 94, the second one's 96, and Salvation is 2000, and I think it might have been made a year before that because like it like sat on the shelf for a while.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, you gonna hear my fifth installments list?
Sure.
Where this one ranked? Out of 50, up to 50 now. This is 33 between Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 and that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Michael Bay produced one.
That feels too high from to me.
Well, you
Although,
liked it less than me, so
yeah. All
that
right.
makes sense.
Who's your MVP? You're going
Gotta go
Twigs?
Twigs.
Twigs
By the
gets
way,
the
a
MVP.
lowercase Twigs. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All of it's lowercase.
Does that mean something?
I just didn't know that.
All right. My MVP. God, I didn't like any of these people.
There's a kid, there's an actress, Laura Byrne, very close to Laura Dern. She
That's
played
true.
Marion.
Yeah, she was all right.
She
Twigs's
was all right.
mom was okay.
It's just two scenes
I
where she
know.
jumps out a window.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Remember, he's like, you see him leave the apartment. It's like, oh, I bet a body's gonna fall right behind
You
him.
nailed it.
Yeah. Um. God damn it.
Come on, go her.
I didn't think she was good. I don't think she can act.
I liked her. You gonna go him then? Skarsgård?
No, I feel like he's my LVP.
Maybe Laura Byrne is Marion. I remember liking her.
Uh, I like that one you mentioned, Zadie.
She's barely in it too, though.
I know, I know.
You really
Listen,
hated this movie.
the soundtrack, that's the MVP.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Uh, LVP. I'm going Danny Houston. You're gonna go Skarsgård?
yeah.
Who would have made it better? Is there anyone you could think of?
I don't know if anyone could have made this Crow better. Like this is like with him like becoming the Crow an hour and 15 minutes into the movie. Like
It is a problem.
there's no saving that. But like maybe who's somebody that could have at least like
I'm,
gotten me invested in the love story element.
I really don't know. I just don't know who else. I don't think anyone can really play this character right now.
I don't know. Yeah, I really can't think of anybody.
I tried a little bit, then I gave up. But that's it. That's the
Maybe
Crow.
Shia.
No, wow, Shia. I
Yeah,
feel like he's too old.
too
I don't
old.
think you'd buy it.
I
Old, too fat.
but I mean I think he should be a little older because I don't know like young love. I just don't. I can't see this being like true love.
Sometimes it works out for people.
I know. I feel like those people are maybe a little bit lying to themselves.
You
But
can't always think that though, or else you just don't believe in. I guess you don't believe in love.
listen, I've been knocked on my ass too many times.
But you have
I,
to, or else you just give up.
I'm cynical about. I feel like I have.
You're literally in a relationship. What are you talking about? It's crazy.
I know. All right. Let's move on to Transformers.